So here's something you probably didn't know. I am a massive fan of pistols. Not quite sure why, but they are my favorite type of thing. Yes, John Woo, Lara Croft, Solid Snake, my heroes. I absolutely love handguns, and that obsession kind of applies to Nerf as well. I'm not going to go over it right now, but I have a massive collection of jolts. I've tried to collect virtually every single pistol-like blaster that I've ever seen. Just the other day, in fact, I finally got a Scout. Never had one of those, or I never found one working. Got like the lock and load and all that crazy stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. Today we're here to talk about the Sharpfire. Why is it sharp? I have no idea. Probably because somebody, mocked it up to look like you were supposed to use this as a battle axe? I don't know. But it certainly does fire, so whatever. Good job, Hasbro. Yes, this is one of the newer blasters. It is an N-Strike blaster, not an N-Strike Elite. This is important because that means the range is going to be disappointing because we've been spoiled with N-Strike Elite stuff for the last couple of years. It is a 6-in-1 convertible blaster. That is a total lie, by the way. We'll go over that. And it comes with 10 darts. I've removed 6 of them. Why have I removed 6 of them? Because there's only storage for 6. It's kind of weird they gave us more darts than anything else. On the back, it kind of goes over what the 6 variants are. You've got the blaster itself, blaster with a barrel extension, blaster with the stock and no barrel extension, blaster with the stock and barrel extension, blaster folded up with the barrel extension, and blaster completely tucked away with no barrel extension. Yes, it's one blaster. Maybe you can argue that the barrel would make it different blaster. I don't quite know. This is way worse than they actually tried to do with the Recon / what is it called? The Retaliator? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Converts into a holster and stay on the move and mission ready with a 6-in-1 blaster. That's it. You think there'd be more, but it's all in other languages. And that's about it. There's only one other curious thing on the box, and that's right here at the bottom. Once again, distributed in Australia by Hasbro Australia. Again, it is a gray-triggered blaster, but I found this one at Target in the US. Kind of weird, but yes, being N-Strike, it's not claiming any kind of ranges, and they're not particularly good at well. If you look at it, it looks like a jolt. I mean, like, imagine a jolt flipped over. But there is a couple of cool things about this blaster we will get into. First, I'm going to show you something I haven't seen on any other review yet. Pull out the blaster. Put it in here at the bottom. If I can. Pull out the barrel extension. And attach the stock. And I dropped one of the darts right there. They don't stay in there all that well, but I haven't seen anybody figure out that you can put the barrel extension in the handle. It kind of explains it in the instructions, but yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews and nobody's done that. It's kind of impressive. But what else? Well, this is the blaster in its completed form. This is kind of a POV look of what it would look like if you were holding it in a video game. I knocked off yet another dart. Have I mentioned these are terrible places to put darts? For one, I mean, they're all over the place. They're in your way. And two, when it's actually on your belt clip, these things are going to be bobbing left and right, unless you had them like this. But yeah, then you have them all. It's just a terrible place to put darts. Not a very good system. I much appreciate the Sledgefire. Sledgefire had a good system, except for it used those shells. But I like the shells, so who cares? The way this blaster works is pretty obvious. You're going to pull this back, and there's a gap right there. It's kind of like, there was that Star Wars blaster that was kind of similar to this, but not. You're going to load a dart in there, push it down, pull that back up, and fire at the cow. And it's, I'd actually argue it might be worse than a jolt. It's not particularly good. It's definitely nifty. You can take off the barrel extension and fire it. And it hits a little bit harder. Then, of course, you can take off the stock as well. And you've got one of the coolest little hand blasters there has been. If you notice this on the back of this, just like a Jolt or Triad, there's screws right there. Take the screws out, the entire spring and everything will fall right out. So it's pretty easy to try to figure out a spring thing for this, and I'm going to definitely work on that. And the other thing that's really interesting is that you can definitely put a brass breech in here, like fairly easily, in fact, and that's actually going to give it some decent mod potential if you can get a lot of power behind it. But again, it's a jolt. Well, other than that, there's not too much to say. It's definitely not punching as hard as you'd like it, but it's really, really cool. And it's only 15 bucks. You get all of this for 15 bucks, and in Hasbro terms, that's quite a bit. So, I'm not exactly going to recommend it unless you're looking for just something. It's probably a really good sidearm, but you're going to have to hold it in every single shot. I mean, as cool as that priming mech is, that's going to take a while to reload on the field. Sorry, cow. But it's definitely a cool blaster. It's one of the best feeling in my hand. I absolutely adore that. And all of this junk that comes with it that you don't even need is really cool. Again, you can slide the blaster in like that, and the barrel extension walks in down there. That clips to your belt, and you're good to go. I'm going to give it, let's see, if I'm going to have to give it some kind of rating system, I'm going to give it, let's say, I'm going to give it a pair of scissors over a Heineken. I'm sure that makes sense in some world, right?